My friends are coming over for a mezze party at my house, and I'm making all of my favorite Mediterranean-themed dishes. My chicken souvlaki cooks in just minutes on the grill, but is bursting with bright and lemony Grecian flavors, and drizzled with a creamy tahini butter sauce.
You know, I go big for you, Ash.
I know you do, girlfriend.
Okay. I'm serving it with a pomegranate relish, my fire-roasted eggplant dip inspired by baba ganoush, freshly grilled bread, and smoky charred carrots with zingy feta herb sauce. It's a Greek-inspired girls' night, and it's all coming up on the grill next door.
Love what you're watching? Take your cooking to the next level with our Essential membership. Get instant access to thousands of recipes, tips, techniques, product reviews, and step-by-step videos. Our Members app allows you to search by ingredient, set dietary preferences, and save your favorite recipes. For those looking to level up, our newest feature, ATK Classes, offers more in-depth instruction led by ATK experts, so you can gain greater confidence in the kitchen. Start your free trial by visiting the App Store or going to americastestkitchen.com/YouTube today.
If you've never tried mezze, it's basically the Mediterranean version of savory appetizers. So think dips, vegetables, olives, pickles. It's one of my favorite ways to eat because the flavors are bright and bold, and it's meant for sharing. And since I've got two of my most stylish friends coming over, Ashley and Caitlin, I'm making some dishes that are just as beautiful and colorful as they are delicious. And I started off by making a zesty marinade for my grilled chicken souvlaki. So I'm gonna start by adding some oil. Now, souvla actually means spit because a lot of souvlaki is cooked over a spit. So you often are taking meat, skewering it, and cooking it on a spit over a fire. I'm not quite doing that, but I am doing skewered meat, and I'm gonna cut up some lemon zest. So I'm being really purposeful in using lemon zest over lemon juice. Lemon zest has a really lovely aromatic flavor that tastes ultra lemony, but if you add juice, the acidity in the juice can dry out the chicken. But the zest doesn't do that, so it gives you all the flavor without drying out the chicken. So I have 3 garlic cloves I'm gonna mince up and get in this marinade. It'll make the chicken nice and garlicky. Get that in the bowl with the lemon zest. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of thyme. This is really good thyme. It's really fresh and young, so it looks really nice. With this sort of thyme, you can actually chop the stems. Often with what you get from the grocery store, it's a little more woody, so you can't chop through the stems with that. But with this kind, you can. So I'm also gonna add some oregano, which has a really nice earthy flavor. I'm gonna add in some coriander and just a little bit of red pepper flakes for some heat. And then a different kind of heat with some black pepper. And then I'm gonna add a good amount of kosher salt in here. So the salt's gonna help it maintain moisture on the grill. This smells delicious. Plenty of lemon zest punch. So I'm gonna put that aside and turn to my chicken. So I have 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. They are great here. They're so neutral, they're so mild. They do really well soaking up flavor. So I'm cutting them lengthwise into strips because of how I'm gonna skewer them. So having these long strips is gonna give me the most surface area possible for doing that. So I'm just tossing the chicken, making sure everything's nice and coated. I'm gonna cover this and wash my hands, and then I'm gonna let this hang out in the fridge for a couple hours until my friends get here. One of my favorite parts about a mezze platter is all the dips. Of course, you've got hummus and tzatziki, and then there's baba ganoush. It's a creamy, smoky eggplant dip that sometimes doesn't get as much love as the other two, but it's so good. My spin on the classic takes fire-roasted eggplants and melds them with cilantro, scallions, and red pepper flakes for a spicy and herbaceous riff on a traditional mezze mainstay. Love them or hate them, eggplant can be a little tricky to cook, but this recipe is one of the easiest ways to do it. It's super simple. I'm gonna take some eggplant, and I'm honestly just gonna poke some holes in it and stick it on the grill. It's gonna transform the eggplant into this ultra creamy texture inside and give it a really nice smokiness. So I have 2 medium-sized eggplants here. I'm just poking 6 holes, kinda sporadically, over these eggplants. The reason you do that is on the grill, some steam's gonna escape from these, otherwise you'll actually burst the eggplant a little bit. My grill's over high heat. It's been preheating for 15 minutes. It is nice and hot, so I'm gonna turn it down to medium-high. I'm just gonna turn all the burners and just pop these on the grill. You don't have to be precious about where you're putting them or anything like that. I'm closing it. I'm letting it go for about 20 minutes. What I'm looking for is actually a smell. They're gonna start smelling like burning leaves. Now that doesn't sound like a good thing, but I assure you it is. The skin is what's gonna give it that smell. I'm gonna take the skin off for the final dish, so the final dip will not taste like burning leaves, but it'll actually give the eggplant dip this really nice smokiness that's kind of subtle in a nice way. And while that goes, I'm gonna make a pomegranate relish. Now, my chicken souvlaki is so delicious and it's coated with a tahini butter, so it doesn't actually need another sauce. But these are just so beautiful. I kind of love any excuse to use pomegranate seeds. They add this really nice tart sweetness. And I have a bunch of parsley here. When you're using parsley, you don't want to use any of the tough woody stems, but you can use these tender little delicate stems. They're really light, and honestly, once they're chopped in there, you really can't tell. So while I'm chopping this, let me tell you about Ashley. We've worked together for about 10 years now. She is a food stylist, which means her job is to take food and make it look beautiful, and she's very good at it. Her work's been featured on a ton of cookbook and magazine covers. She just has a natural knack for making food look stunning and figuring out how to make it work. So I put about 3/4 cup of the parsley in with my pomegranate. I'm gonna save the rest of this parsley for a feta herb sauce I'm gonna make later to go with the carrots. Here I also have a shallot, so I'm just gonna give this a nice mince. With the pomegranates, I used about 3/4 cup of parsley. I have about an equal amount of pomegranate seeds in there. I'm gonna have this minced shallot. And I also have 2 garlic cloves that I'm gonna mince. I'm gonna add in my garlic. All right, I got some lemon in here. And then I'm just gonna add in some oil. Now I'm adding a little bit of salt. Let's see, let me make sure it has enough salt. Yeah, that's really well seasoned. You get these little pops of pomegranate seeds, so they kind of burst in your mouth in a really fun way. Super delicious. This is all set. I'm gonna check on those eggplants. They're starting to smell like burning leaves. Not quite there yet, but, and you can see, they're really nice and charred on this one side. They have some nice grill marks. Again, the skin's gonna disappear later, but that's kind of what you want. It's starting to shrink up. It's getting really shrivelly, and you're starting to smell it. I'm gonna just flip them over. So these need to go about another 10 minutes, and then I can let them cool and get into that dip. A lot of people overlook carrots when it comes to grilling veggies, and that's a shame. Grilling carrots caramelizes their natural sugars, so the outsides char really well. And if you do it right, the insides get meltingly tender and almost potatoey. But there's a trick to it. It requires a little bit of advanced preparation. So I partially cook these in the microwave. I just microwave them for about 9 minutes, and I toss them with a little oil and some salt and pepper first. You can see this is not like your standard out of the ground carrot. It's nice and pliable. Once I put them on the grill, what I'm really gonna be looking for is for them to just pick up a little bit more char, finish cooking all the way through. But it's mostly about the color at this point because I partially cooked them. So I'm gonna toss them with just a little bit more oil, which will just protect them on the grill. I feel like if you just dump them on there as is, we're going for the difference between burnt and char, which is a subtle difference, but an important one. Okay, let me pull off these eggplants, and you can see how different they are. So they're like nice and soft. The skin is just like nice and charred. It is gonna give that really nice smoky flavor to this. All right, these do need to cool, so I'm gonna put those to the side. Now I'm gonna add the carrots. Now I am gonna be a little particular in putting them perpendicular to the grill grates. Those are gonna go about 10 minutes. I'm gonna look for them to be really nice and charred all over, so I'm gonna turn them once halfway through, and that's that. While the carrots cook, I'm gonna work on a tangy feta herb sauce to serve them with, and it comes together in a snap in the blender. I have 4 ounces of feta, and I'm just gonna crumble it up. I always buy feta as a big slab myself and crumble it. When you buy it pre-crumbled, it often is coated in cellulose, which can give it sort of a chalkiness. Now I have a garlic clove. I'm just gonna smash it and rough chop it. It's all getting blended, so it does not need to be anywhere near perfect. Dumping that in. I have a little bit of parsley from earlier. This is about 1/4 cup. And I'm also gonna add some mint. I really love what the mint does here. It just adds a nice freshness. Mint's one of my favorite herbs. I also am a beginner gardener, and mint is like the easiest thing in the world to garden, so kind of biased toward it. And again, just rough chop. This is all gonna get blended. No need to spend a lot of time on it. Add a nice squeeze of lemon juice in here. Take a little bit of honey. This is just a teaspoon. It's just gonna add a nice little bit of sweetness. And then I'm also gonna add just a little bit of whole milk yogurt. In this sauce, it adds a nice creaminess. It makes everything come together. I'm just gonna add a little bit of pepper. And a nice little squeeze of olive oil, which will also help this blend nicely. I actually don't need to add any salt to this because the feta has a lot of saltiness, so you can taste it and I can decide if I wanna add more salt at the end. Okay, I'm gonna blend this in just a second, but I wanna get an eye on these carrots. That's exactly what we're talking about. This is gonna taste delicious. It's gonna make these carrots taste next level. I'm gonna flip these. Sometimes when I'm cooking something, I get very excited about eating it, and that is how I'm feeling about these. Okay, back to the sauce. So I'm just gonna let this blend for about a minute. It's gonna be nice and creamy and smooth. Super simple. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, this is perfect. So it's creamy, it's smooth. Now, I do need to taste it. And yeah, it's really good. That's really good. It sort of feels like you're on vacation in the Mediterranean. It's like the feta, the lemon, you're having a good time. Let me check on my carrots. They look beautiful. And get these off. All right. Yeah, they look like they are worthy of a fancy restaurant, but I'm gonna make it even a little bit better. So I'm gonna add just a squeeze of fresh lemon juice on these and a little bit of garam masala.
If you tried to add the garam masala to the carrots before you put them on the grill, it would burn and turn bitter. By adding it now, you allow the spice to gently bloom in the residual heat from the carrots.
All right, the carrots are looking good, and I'm gonna set them aside. I'm gonna let the carrots cool for just a little bit while I get everything else together. You can eat them warm, they're delicious warm, but I kind of like them room temp, especially when they're part of a really pretty spread. Now I wanna get everything together for my eggplant dip. I'm gonna start with some garlic. So here I have a garlic clove. Now, eggplant is pretty mild in its flavor. This does have some really nice roasty flavor going on, but still kind of mild. So I'm gonna treat this garlic with a little care. I'm gonna mince it, and then I'm actually gonna try to get it to a paste. I always like to sprinkle with just a little salt to help this along. This will just make sure in this creamy dip that it's nice and really evenly distributed. Also, the more you break down garlic, the stronger it actually gets. The kosher salt helps break down the garlic a little bit, like it's actually so coarse that it actually physically breaks it down a little bit. And then I'll use the back of my knife and smear it a little bit. All right, that looks very good. Nice and paste-like. I'm gonna add this to my bowl, and I'm gonna add some lemon juice to this.
The acid in the lemon juice mellows out the harsh bite of the garlic. By letting the mixture sit for a few minutes, you get a more rounded garlic flavor that won't overpower the finished dip.
Now back to the eggplant. So this eggplant sat another 30 minutes off the grill. Now it's very easy to handle. The other reason is that some of this liquid came off. That's actually a really good thing. This liquid, it's a little bit bitter, like it has some of that char flavor in a way that actually isn't great here. So you want to actually give it some time to get out of the eggplants. That happens as it rests. It's almost sort of like meat resting. It's letting off some of its juices. So I will put the eggplant on the board. I'm really just splitting these down the center. And this one's actually kind of broke itself open for me, so it's great. And I'm just gonna use a spoon in order to scoop out the flesh. You can kind of just scrape the inside of the skin and pick through for any of these skin pieces. It's okay if there's like a tiny, tiny bit, but again, it's a little bitter. I don't want much of that skin at all if I can avoid it. I'm just gonna run my knife through this and just kind of roughly chop it. It's so creamy that it's already sort of falling apart, but this way you make sure all these sort of strands of eggplant are getting nice and broken down. So I'm gonna add this in with my lemon juice and garlic. So next up in this is some tahini. I actually have about a quarter cup in here, and I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil too. Okay, so that's looking really good. I'm gonna add some herbs to it as well. So I have 2 scallions. I'm gonna slice nice and thin and add in here. Add these in. And I'm just gonna add in a couple tablespoons of cilantro. And if you're one of those people that hates cilantro, it is okay to leave it out. I think it's a small enough amount that even I've served this to a few cilantro haters in my life and they don't seem to notice it. I love that it adds such a nice freshness here. And then just a little bit of red pepper flake. A little heat in here. This looks great. I think it is ready to try once I get everything nice and mixed up in here. That's delightful.
The longer the eggplant dip sits, the more time the flavors have to meld, which gives me a few more minutes to put finishing touches on my mezze spread.
At Cooks Illustrated, we're food nerds. That's why every recipe we develop involves research, cooking science, and rigorous testing by our team of expert test cooks. Only the highest rated recipes earn a place in our award-winning magazine. Every issue features our latest recipes and discoveries, cooking tips, and equipment and ingredient reviews. Our step-by-step photos and hand-drawn illustrations show you exactly how to succeed. So, are you ready to become the best cook you know? Subscribe to Cooks Illustrated magazine at cooksillustrated.com today.
Okay, Ashley should be here any minute, but I do have some really pretty garnishes for the carrots. So I've got some chopped pistachios to put over top, And I have some nice mint, so I can tear up the mint leaves and put them on top. Or actually, I'll probably have Ashley do that for me.
Morgan! Hey!
Good to see you.
You too. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for coming all the way up here.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. This is so
course.
exciting.
I'm so excited. I hope you like mezze.
Look at all this amazing stuff. You've been busy.
So I grilled some carrots.
Ooh.
So I par cooked them in the microwave, and then I charred them on the grill.
Nice.
And then I made this feta herb sauce. So I just blended it up.
Yum.
And I have some garnishes here.
Yeah.
So what I typically do is I smear some of the sauce down and put the carrots on top and the other stuff on top of that.
Okay.
But you're the pro. You do whatever looks pretty.
No pressure.
No pressure, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, as you said to put this schmear on the bottom first, right?
Yeah. I know. I'm like, do you have any good tips for me? I feel like I never think about styling or plating.
Right, it's definitely like using a different part of your brain, that's for sure. The more you do it, the more it just kind of comes naturally. But what I do, especially with sauces, because you do eat with your eyes first. You know, there's a saying for a reason. So what I like to do is I always kind of go to the border of whatever plate or platter or vessel I'm using.
It's like an abundant amount of sauce.
Exactly. And also mistakes are fine to do. Like if I didn't do that perfectly, I know that I'm going to be garnishing with pistachios and mint. So those things can cover up any kind of extra blemish.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's looking beautiful. Actually, I have one more thing I want to do. I want to grill some pizza dough for us. But it's honestly just grilling pizza dough in place of something like pita. Like you can buy store-bought pita, and it's often a little dry. But if you do pizza dough, it tastes like delicious restaurant-style grilled bread.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, and it's super simple.
Okay.
I have a pound of store-bought pizza dough, and I'm just going to moisten my hands with a little oil. I have my grill. It's nice and hot. It is preheated over medium-high heat, evenly. It's super, super hot. Also, it's kind of fun to do because you get to play with pizza dough.
Heck yeah. And that's room temp, you said, right?
Yes, exactly. This is room temp, which just makes it a little easier to work with.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm literally going to tear it up at the end.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like amoeba-shaped, totally welcome here.
All right.
And I'm just going to throw it right on the grill grates. I'm going to close the grill. That's important. All right, so while this cooks, let me tell you about Caitlin.
Oh, yes.
I'm so excited for you guys to meet.
Same.
So she's an artist out in Denver, Colorado, but she's
Amazing.
actually in town to visit some family and also to come cook with us and hang out with us.
Yes.
But yeah, we put on this really cool like art dinner party. And so it's all about how to style food and like the artistic side of food.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I feel like you two have similar energies.
Yes.
I'm very excited for you guys to get
Yes,
ahead.
we're going to art nerd out.
Art food nerd out. I love it. I think that's great.
Love it.
That's why I want you guys to meet.
There you go.
Similar souls. Okay, let's see. So I like to just kind of peel up a corner and see. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. All right, that is stunning. Can I actually have you finish this?
Yeah.
Honestly, you just need to get it nice and charred on the second side. It's 1 to 2 minutes per side, so just another minute or so.
All right.
I'm gonna run in and grab the chicken souvlaki.
All right.
I'm using 10-inch metal skewers for my chicken souvlaki. Now, these are definitely worth picking up if you love grilling, but wooden skewers also work fine too.
Now, this is what I really want to show you guys, this technique. So you can see that I'm taking the chicken and I'm putting it in a sort of S shape on the skewer. Now, the reason this is so great is that it actually takes, you can see like all the little bits of garlic, that lemon, the red pepper flakes, everything we made a little more chunky, and it captures it in each little nook and cranny. Now, 4 or 5 pieces of chicken on the skewer is a good magic number. You can kind of work them down the skewer. All right, so that looks perfect. You want it nice and even. I'm kind of just spacing it down as I need. You don't want a ton of skewer exposed. You want it, relatively spaced out. You don't want to waste your skewer. And also doing this, you make sure you get plenty of area to hit the grill. The last one. All right, let me wash up my hands. All right, let's see how Ashley did on that bread. It's looking perfect.
Oh,
You're doing
thank
great.
you.
I'm gonna pop back over and take over the grill and cook the chicken souvlaki.
Ooh.
Ash, those look great.
Thank you.
One more thing for those. Would you mind giving them a little drizzle of some olive oil?
Yep.
And a sprinkling with flake sea salt?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a nice little way to finish it. Okay, so my grill is nice and hot. So I'm gonna let this go about 3 to 5 minutes per side.
Okay.
It'll be nice and charred on both sides at the end of that time. And while that goes, I'm gonna make the tahini butter sauce.
Ooh.
So you just brush this on the chicken. Super simple to make.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take and melt some butter. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of oregano to some tahini.
Okay.
And some bright lemon juice.
There's so much going on here. Like, we're really leaning into the Mediterranean aspect of it. There's a lot of different flavors, textures. This is so exciting.
You know, I go big for you, Ash.
I know you do, girlfriend.
I'm gonna take this butter, now that it's nice and melted, and just whisk it in until it's emulsified. Actually, do you mind holding that? Thank you.
Love to.
Like, this is a good two-person job.
Ooh, that's super creamy.
Yeah, it is. That is the sauce.
I love it.
All right, let's see how these guys are doing. And,
Ah,
oh yeah.
Yes.
yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's get the second side nice and charred as well. This will be another 3 to 5 minutes on the second side.
It smells so good.
I know, I feel like you're getting that garlic, the lemon, the oregano, a little bit of fresh thyme in there too.
Great.
Okay, so I'm gonna let this go another 3 to 5 minutes.
Right.
I've got my tahini butter sauce ready for when I come off. Amazing. Oh my gosh, smells so good.
Yes.
Because I use chicken breast for my souvlaki, I'm looking for the meat to register 160 degrees.
Okay, right there,
Nice.
161.
Yeah.
It's not my first chicken I'm cooking over here. Okay, I'm gonna pull these off. That is the last thing I'm doing on this grill, so I'm gonna turn it off.
Okay.
It's been hugely helpful today.
Thank you, Grill.
Thank you, grill. I'm gonna brush this with the tahini butter, which is gonna get in all this nooks and crannies.
Okay.
And while I do that, Ash, would you mind going in? I have a pile of stuff that's gonna be beautiful on our board and just grabbing that and bringing it out here.
Yeah, be right back.
Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah, so those little nooks and crannies are just picking up all of this sauce.
Guess who I found?
Hi! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you for making the trek. Good to see you. Oh, you brought pigs.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, amazing. I'm so excited. I feel like I made food that you'll love, Caitlin. I've got some grilled carrots with a feta herb sauce. We've got this grilled bread that Ash decorated for me and made nice and beautiful. Okay, I just need to cut up some veggies for our board and then we're ready to start eating. Ash, do you mind grabbing the board and getting it started?
Yes.
I feel like I'll leave this to the pro.
Thank you.
An artful mezze spread, cheese board, or platter may look effortless, but if you've ever tried to make one, you know it's not as easy as it looks. So here are a few pro tips I picked up from my food stylist friends to guide your next board. Tip 1, size matters. Pick the right platter for the job. You want your platter to look bountiful, but not overcrowded or hard for your guests to navigate. Tip 2, focus. Start with a focal point on the board to organize things, like our eggplant dip. Then make a long trail across the board with veggies or crackers or fruit. This will create visual boundaries or sections so it doesn't look messy. And finally, tip 3, give a hint. Clue your guests into how they should serve themselves. So if you think cucumbers go best with a particular dip, arrange them near that dip. Same goes for utensils. Place them artfully near the food they're intended for.
This board looks so pretty.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Let's dig in.
Let's each grab something and we'll move over. We'll go sit on the couch.
Okay. This looks so good, you guys.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm really hungry.
Same here. Who's thirsty?
Me. Cheers.
Cheers.
I did like a hard cheers. I'm so glad to have you guys up here. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having us.
All right, should we dig in?
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, that's great.
The pomegranates, that sauce is so delicious.
I like that it goes well with the chicken. I actually haven't done that before,
Yeah.
but I feel like they really are nice.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what is in the sauce with the carrots?
So it's an herb feta sauce. So it's got feta, some garlic, some mint, and some parsley.
So good.
I know, I love it. So it should have that nice creaminess inside,
So
but a
good.
nice little char. I want it to feel restaurant worthy for you girls.
Well, mission accomplished.
All right, well, one more cheers to you both. Thank you both for teaching me more about food and art and making this look so beautiful.
Yes, thank you again for having us.
Thank you so much.
We are lucky.
If you're ready to take your cooking to the next level, head over to americastestkitchen.com and get a free trial of our ATK Essential membership. While you're there, you can sign up for our free email newsletters and download our app. So, what are you waiting for?